Hello from the Ron Colbus Lakeside Center here at Britannia Beach. As you can see from here behind me, this whole entire area has started to flood, but this is not the first time we have seen this happen. Back in May 2017, a very similar situation played out. Back then it was called a century flood, meaning it would only happen once every 100 years. Back then, people actually also said that they've never seen anything like this, but now 2 years later, it's happening again. Residents who live here in the area are working around the clock, tirelessly sandbagging their homes to prevent the water from coming in and flooding their basements. Now, luckily for many of the homes here in the area, they're protected by a flood wall. Back in 2017, that flood wall proved to be successful, and it actually did stop the water from entering people's homes. The water never reached the top of the flood wall. It was very close to it, but the water started receding just in time. They're hoping the same thing will happen again this year, but the problem is this flood is playing out differently. For one, back in 2017, the flood came in fast and it didn't last too long, but this time it's been coming in for days and it still has not reached its peak. It's not expected to reach its peak until Tuesday or Wednesday, but rain is also in the forecast for this Wednesday, 20 to 40 millimeters worth. It may not sound like a lot of rain, but for people here who are dealing with so much water on the ground already, it really cannot handle any more. Another problem is with snow melt up the Ottawa River in the Renfrew County area. As that snow starts melting, it's traveling down the Ottawa River here to Britannia Beach, and it is flooding this area. Now, this is not the only part of the region that is being impacted by flooding. Just 2 days ago, we were in Constance Bay. They're working around the clock there too, also sandbagging their homes. The military was called in a few days ago. Around 500 members of the Canadian Armed Forces are here on the ground, some of them stationed here in Britannia, in the Britannia Village area. Most of them, though, up in Constance Bay, and other ones are also circulating around the other areas in the region. The military also called in Quebec. They were called in there just before they were called in here. So they have been having many hands here on the ground helping with sandbagging efforts. In Constance Bay, when we were there on Saturday, things were not looking good. Many people were working around the clock sandbagging their homes, yet it's getting worse. Water levels are now starting to reach Bayview Road. That is the main road in Constance Bay, and really it is the access point to the community. The military started sandbagging that area 2 days ago, yet it is not enough for the power of the waves in the water, and the water is getting through, and it has started to flood one of the lanes. If that continues to get worse, they might have to cut off access to the community, and that will be devastating for the residents who are there. They don't want to evacuate. They want to stay there to try to save their homes, their belongings, their possessions. We do know that the other day around 12 people were forced to vacate their home. Now, here in Britannia Beach, the situation is not good. It is expected to get worse as the days come on. Residents are working around the clock sandbagging their homes, and they are a little bit concerned about that flood wall for a few reasons. It did hold up back in 2017, yet this time around the flood is approaching differently, and so they're concerned on what type of damage it could also be doing to the wall. They're actually now, before they were sandbagging part of the wall, but now the wall is just too unsteady to walk on, so they're actually sandbagging the side of the wall. So things here are expected to get much worse before they get any better. The water is expected to stay here in the area for at least 2 more weeks before it starts receding. The damage it will do in that time really is unknown, but residents here are very concerned for what this means, and not only this year, but also for future springs. Is this something that we're going to see every couple of years or not? Only time will tell. Charlie Cenac, WIN News, Britannia Beach.